So I don't really believe in the idea of silver linings, or maybe I just don't like that terminology so much, but I am very much into the idea that Rabbi Starr so beautifully spoke about on Yom Kippur. That challenging moments, especially our present situation with this pandemic, yields the opportunity for the lost and the found. So I don't need to recap his sermon because I wouldn't do it justice. So do me a favor, and after Yontif, go watch it again, and then maybe a couple more times because we all need to hear it. But what I want to focus on this morning is one of those elements that has been found. Because even though it's been found, I don't think we've truly grasped the significance of it. Those first months of the pandemic were incredibly difficult. And lockdown was something that for many of us and for folks all around the world, we tried to navigate as best as we could. But while we were struggling, something pretty amazing happened. Headlines in major newspapers and on the internet for weeks included stories such as dolphins spotted in the canals of Venice. Haze and pollution levels dropped dramatically, allowing consistent views of the Los Angeles skyline. And species once thought to be extinct found and appear to be growing in number during pandemic. Something important was found. It wasn't necessarily found by us, but by our world. That when we take a step back, when we limit our consumerism, our transportation, our normal grind, the world heals. And before you tune out thinking that I'm going to simply go on an environmentalism harangue here, let me say that while that sermon is important and deserves to be given with the proper time and passion, my goal this morning is something much simpler. This week we have an incredible opportunity. Sukkot always presents us with this opportunity, but this year especially, while we are apart from one another physically, we have the opportunity to embrace this Chag, this Yom Tov, this beautiful holiday with an intentionality that has the power to be truly transformative. Sukkot is a holiday of gratitude, appreciation, and fervent prayer. It is a chance for us to remember the Ananei Kavod that Rabbi Starr just spoke of, the presence of God that led our ancestors through the wilderness and into the promised land. An image that we try to recreate with the schach, the foliage that we put on top of our Sukkot. Those aren't meant to just be huts. They're supposed to be symbols of the divine presence. But Sukkot is also deeply rooted, pun intended, in the agricultural culture of the Near East. The ancient Israelite tradition of relying on rain for harvest, sustenance, for life. It is a holiday that not merely suggests but demands us to attune ourselves to the natural world around us, to stand in awe and wonder that all of this exists. Trees and rivers and mountains and deserts, wheat and fruit and millions of different creatures that share in this great gift with us. And so today I want to make a simple but important request. This week, today, tomorrow, whenever, carve out a chunk of time to be outside. Not just to move your laptop into your sukkah or to take a phone call on your porch, but to really be present and to notice the world around you. Study a tree. Put your hand into the soil. Pay attention to what we so often take for granted. And then, when you shake your lulav and etrog, not today because we're going to do it together, but sometime this week when you shake your lulav and etrog, do it outside. That's where this ritual is meant to take place. It is an ancient practice, pretty pagan in its origin, if we're being honest, to appeal to God to impregnate the sky with the seeds of rain and to spread the rain waters throughout the four corners of the world and into the soil. It's hard to capture the beauty of that imagery when we're in our living rooms. It's possible. Of course it's possible, but it just doesn't have the same ta'am. It doesn't have the same taste, the same flavor, the same authentic experience. Prayer is so much more powerful when it transforms us, when it can take us all the way back to our ancient ancestors, when it serves as an electric current between them and us and all our history. We have that opportunity today. While the world is healing, while it is telling us that we need to let her rest more often, we can heed that call. We can take a breath of fresh air and fall into the transcendence of these days. This is something so special waiting to be found. Let's seize the moment and let's do it in a way that is prayerful, edifying, and healing. Chag Sameach.